Darwin's theory of natural selection. Charles Darwin had collected innumerable specimens of plants and animals, and depending on the observations of those all specimens, he published the theory of natural selection, which preaches survival of the fittest. For this purpose, he had published a book titled Origin of Species. While explaining the concept, Darwin says that all organisms reproduce prolifically. That means they produce large number of offsprings. All the organisms compete with each other in a life-threatening manner. In this competition, only those organisms sustain which show the modifications essential for winning the competition. So he said that all organisms, they produce large number of offsprings, and during their life the species compete with each other in a life-threatening manner. That means they want to increase their numbers by competing with the other species, and only those species sustain which show modifications essential for sustenance. However, the natural selection also plays an important role, because nature selects only those organisms which are fit to live, and rest are perished. Sustaining and selected organisms can perform reproduction, and thereby they can increase their number, and they can give rise to the new species with their own specific characters. This is Darwin's theory of natural selection. It was widely accepted. However, some objections were raised against the theory, and these objections are: natural selection is not the only factor responsible for evolution. Darwin did not mention any useful or useless modifications, and there is no explanation about slow changes and abrupt changes. So even though these limitations were there, Darwin's work on evolution has been a milestone. So in examination they will ask you to write a note on Darwin's theory of natural selection. So you can say like this: Darwin studied innumerable species of plants and animals, and from these studies, he came forward with the theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest. In this, reproduction in large number, then competing with each other in a life-threatening manner, and sustenance of the fittest means organisms which have the modifications essential for winning the competition. These points are important. So this was the Darwin's theory of natural selection. And there was one more theory, and that was called Lamarckism, which was given by the scientist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. He proposed that the morphological changes, that means the changes in the structures or the changes in the organs, they can be transmitted from one generation to other. So he said that the morphological changes occurring in the living organisms are responsible for evolution, and reason behind these morphological changes is activities or laziness of that organism. He called this principle as use or disuse of organs. For example, he stated that neck of giraffe is too long due to browsing on leaves of tall plants. They extend their neck for several generations, and each generation the neck was lengthened, and that's why a giraffe has a long neck. Similarly, the shoulders of an ironsmith have become very strong due to hammering movements. Wings of birds like ostrich and emu have become weak due to no use. Legs of swan and duck have become useful for swimming due to living in water, and snakes have lost their leg because of their burrowing habit. So all these are examples of acquired characters. That means the characters which are gained by those organisms during their lifetime. So the theory of inheritance of acquired characters was put forward by Lamarck, and for this he gave all these examples like neck of giraffe, shoulders of ironsmith, wings of emu and ostrich, legs of swan and duck, and finally snake lost their legs. This Lamarck's theory of acquired inheritance was rejected, although the development of organ due to specific activities or their degeneration due to no use was accepted. But the transfer of the character from generation to generation was rejected. And this was because it was experimentally proved that such acquired characters cannot be inherited. And for that, scientists did experiment like they surgically remove the tails of certain group of mice and observed the offsprings. Offspring of those mice had the tails. So acquired characters could not be transferred to the progeny in many generations. So this transfer of acquired characters was rejected, and in all this Lamarckism was disproved. So basic thing was activities of organisms are responsible for evolution, and this was rejected.